Rise and shine, roommates. It's your girl, LaSasha Turner, and today is different for everybody. I never had this many guests on my show. Right now, we have four, five, including myself. We're waiting for two more. Every panel, everybody is a podcast host throughout the state. Right now, we have Precious Truth on the panel. We also have the girls' locker room on the panel. And we have my favorite co-host, don't tell Noah, on the panel tonight as well, speaking on In My Room Only with me. So, ladies and Murphy, are you ready to get into the conversation tonight?
Yes.
All right, so girls' locker room. Nikki and Charity, you guys are best friends. I looked into your podcast as well, based out of North Carolina, like we were talking about, and looking into your podcast and listening to it. It seems like it's really about like a girls' night, talking on the phone, like you said in your bio, and just a lot of girl chat that boys really wouldn't understand or get into. Am I right or am I wrong?
You right. You right.
So tell me how this podcast idea even came about between you two.
Honestly, it wasn't no set plan or anything. We talk on the phone every day. We've been best friends for about 20 years now. So since ninth grade, I'm telling my age a little bit. Don't go to counting nobody, but we just always wanted to do something together. We both have our own businesses and family lives, and we just wanted to do something together as best friends. We always talked about doing a podcast, but we never actually did it. We are both introverted. So it was really a big thing for us. So then 2020, we say, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just try something new, try something different, come out of our shell. So that was my take on why we just decided to start.
Now, speaking on being an introvert, was 2020 and COVID a big help for you starting your podcast simply because everybody had to stay home?
For me, it was fine. What about you, Charity?
Yeah, we started before COVID though, didn't we? Did we? I mean, COVID ain't really stopped nothing.
Yeah, pretty the same.
Yeah.
Now, Precious Truth, I looked into your podcast as well, and it's kind of similar, not really. Yours is really about your life and just going back to your past and comparing it to your present and just speaking about your life growth and also the investment you have made into yourself, emotionally, physically, and everything under the sun. So tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Yes. So, I mean, originally I did have another podcast with my best friend as well, just as you guys did. It was called Pretty Truths, and we started that before COVID, and COVID actually shut us down. So we were meeting on a daily basis to record, but she works in a hospital, and so they were working like 24-hour shifts, rounds and rounds at the hospital, and we no longer had the time to record. And although I wanted to continue to call my best friend, and we will start again, I kind of thought about if I had my own podcast, what would I want to discuss? And the first thing that came to mind was melanin magic. And that's pertaining to myself and my growth. So growing up, I didn't feel that Black was beautiful. And that's because of what I seen on, in the media, on magazines. I didn't feel included in that, and thus started to think that Black wasn't beautiful. And it was through re-educating myself and finding out why we believed that and how we were taught that, whether it was, subliminal and purposely. I started to think about other young girls and other women my age who I talk to who are still going through those motions of just believing that they're beautiful. I'm like, I need to just create a forum where I can talk to them and tell them how I use my path to get to where I am now, but also to continue to dismantle the notion that Black isn't beautiful,
Exactly. Now, the life advancements that you speak about in your podcast, how does that integrate with your growth as a person behind the scenes?
Wow. Like I said, I've done a lot of re-educating, so I know why I used to think that way, but that doesn't mean I don't have my moments still. So a lot of time it's reiterating even to myself positive affirmations and telling myself, again, that you're beautiful, telling myself that you're intelligent, because even aside from beauty, we also didn't feel up to par in just positions. And so for me, I always work to kind of dismantle everything that I thought I couldn't be. Again, beautiful, intelligent, or whatever. And that's why I actually went to school. I do have a master's degree. So I always do things to basically prove to myself that I am worthy. And so I use my personal experience to promote that to others. But I use that podcast to continue to remind myself of those things as well.
Well, congratulations on your success as your master's, and I love your story
Thank
behind
you.
the podcast. That is definitely inspiring, definitely for the Black community. I feel like we definitely need more uplifting women. Sorry, but when it comes to Charity and Nikki or Nick, I'm sorry, is it Nikki or Nick?
Isn't it?
All right, sorry, I just wanted to correct that. So when it comes to you two and your personalities together as two hosts on one podcast, is it yin and yang when it comes to your view? Or do you
Definitely.
definitely bring
Most time, well, I mean, in 1,000 ways we the same, and then in 1,000 more ways we different too. But most of the time, I don't know, we kind of agree mostly. We disagree to agree. I mean,
Yeah, it's weird.
yeah.
It's like we're on the same page, but then at the same time, we're still very different. I don't know if it's still in the bio, but I'm a Cancer, she's a Gemini, and we're true to our personalities, but at the same time, we mesh really well together.
Yeah, that must be fun having a host next to you. I know Murphy is one of my co-hosts, and it's such a fun time on the set. I don't know. You can talk to Murphy. Murphy, talk about being a co-host on In My Room. How different is it having two personalities on one set? Are you talking and not unmuted?
Oh wait, okay. Wait, how much of that did you guys hear?
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh, but no, it's great because I feel like it definitely makes it a little easier to talk, and especially last time we shot, it was the three of us, and we really kept the conversation going. We were able to bring up fresh topics. Everybody had a different point of view. It really kind of builds the situation. I feel like it's kind of fun to watch what two people have to say to each other. You know what I mean? It adds different perspectives to each side.
Definitely.
Mm. Especially with the sign stuff. I know LaSasha, you're a Capricorn and I'm a Virgo. And they're supposed to be good friends too, also. Yeah.
Yeah, we click well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nothing but smiles, and we're always laughing at nothing.
Oh my God, yeah. And especially whenever we get onto any topic, we always kind of shoot like left and it completely changes into something else.
Exactly.
I think the last movie review we were doing started with like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and ended with us talking about Gandhi. Like it just kind of completely misdirects every time. But it's fun, you know what I mean? It keeps everything fresh and new, I feel like, in each episode.
Definitely. Girls'
Yeah.
locker room. What is your perspective on what he just said? Do you believe that it definitely brings two perspectives and it's fun? Or do you think that when it comes to two hosts that it's better to have a break? Have you ever looked into that site when it comes to your podcast?
It's definitely fun. Murphy was saying, we laugh a lot. I'm sure if you listen, we giggle all the time, and we do this on a daily basis on our personal conversations. So we kind of treat our podcast like it's a regular conversation, that we do on the phone every day. As far as the break, I think we take breaks not on purpose, just because of the different personalities. Sometimes I'm in the mood, sometimes she's not, or vice versa. And it's new to us and it's something different. So we're still learning that path, honestly, on how to take the breaks and come together when it's time to record. But I think breaks are necessary sometimes, especially I mean, like I said, we're best friends. We've been best friends for 20 years. So we talk every day, literally.
Yeah, sometimes I just don't feel like talking to her.
It's like I can tell when she's in a mood. She can tell when I'm in a mood. And it's just like, you know what? This ain't a good week. So
Yeah.
we're going to keep it moving. We're going to try again next week.
No, I definitely like that comment simply because it gave me a perspective. I've been juggling trying to have a host and be my separate person because, like, I don't want to get on somebody's nerve too much and they'd be like, you know what, I'm done with you podcast. So it's refreshing to hear that a break is necessary, or is not simply just necessary, but it's okay to have when you have a host as well.
That's true.
So to all the hosts, tell me the importance with your audience and your listeners. Anybody can go.
It kind of broke up. Can you repeat the question again?
The importance between your audience and your listeners.
When you say audience, between audience and listeners, because I'm here, to me it's synonyms, so I'm trying to figure out, when you say audience, are you saying like the people we speak to on social media versus the people who actually tune into our podcast and listen?
Right. The connection that you have on social media. Like for me, like when I say my audience, I mean my Instagram and my YouTube. Some people don't do YouTube as I do, but if you do, that's what I mean. And then with your listeners, when it comes to just the audio part, because to me those are two different things that you have in my view would have to be intensified, because some people are just listeners. When I started as a podcaster, I was just a listener, and then people got me into watching it, and now I'm a watcher as well. I'm a visual. But when it comes to different sets, if the intro isn't with it, I'm just not going to listen to it. When it comes to the visual, if the emotion is not with it, I don't want to watch it. So how important is those two to you guys?
Well, I definitely want to incur more followers on my social media, so my audience is very important, and I feel like that we will get more traffic through those other forums, and so it's very important to continue to put out content and to put out what people like. So especially nowadays, with if you do have a business or create an Instagram account, it'll show you insights, so it shows you what people want to see, because those are the most likes you get. Those people, it shows if they follow you after they viewed the video and things like that. So the audience is very important. However, I do want to consider my listeners, because those are the people who take the time to not only look at me on social media, but go to another app and click and listen to me as well. So, I mean, they're both very important to me, but I feel like you definitely have to focus on social media, because that is where you find people or are able to promote people to tune into your podcast as well.
And you ladies?
I'm gonna leave that up to Nick, because I'm gonna tell you, she does all that social media content and stuff, and she gets the followers. And yeah, go ahead, Nick. You're appreciated.
And contact me back on email and Instagram.
You said what?
Yes, that's her.
Yeah. I like that.
I don't even hardly even get on social media. She's the social media person for the page.
That's actually a really good question. I agree a lot with what Precious said as well. They both are important, but as I was stating too, we just started the podcast. Even though it's like been going on for a whole year, I can't say that we were as consistent as we probably could have been. And that's just us learning it and coming out of our own shell. So I can't even say that I actually thought about it. So that's definitely something that I will think about, going forward. But the audience is important, because they are the ones that are engaging. That's how you can network. That's how you can, like you said, build your followers up to potentially get more listeners. But also, like, the listeners are just as important, because those are going to be the ones that helps your rating and your rankings. And, I say a little bit of both. I can't say one is more important than the other, but in a way, I would say listeners, because they can take you to where you really want to go. That's what the different hosting sites, that's what they're looking at, who's listening to. I would rather have that than a whole bunch of people engaging and they're not listening, because I think a lot of people do that. They engage, but they're not actually listening. Like the numbers don't match up, sometimes. So I guess I could go hand in hand. How can we figure out a way to get both? I don't know. Y'all got some tips? Help me.
I'm still trying to figure it out, because you could have, I think my page, I just started my Precious Truthz podcast page maybe like 2 months ago. So it just now got up to 500 followers. And I have posts that, because Instagram Reels is like the new thing. So I have posts that have reached up to 10,000 views and 300 likes, but those don't transmit into listens.
Exactly.
And then I have people who get up under the post and be like, yeah, girl, I'm listen, about 50 of them, and then you turn the next day and you still at 25 listens, and you're like, and it really gives me upset, especially like if you have, I have at least like my great grandmother. I know I'm ranting, but my great grandmother has 10 kids, and each kid has like 50 kids. So I have like 100 cousins, and I send out the message to them. So I should always have 100 views on the first day, and that doesn't happen. So it's like, again, I get the social media and engaging is important, but it do not translate to listens all the time.
Right. I definitely agree with that.
Precious, speaking about your podcast, I was actually intrigued on your social media. You also you daily post a lot. You post daily, every day, weekly, about 5 posts.
I try.
Yeah, and what I love about it is that most of like the background music is you. Are setting up, mix and master everything. Like, how does that work out for you? What was your thought behind that? And that is a big confidence thing to do. Like, I could never.
Yeah, I always love music. And if you tune into my podcast and listen to the background, I can't sing that well, but I love to sing and I love to write. So I feel like I should have been like a writer, because people can sing my words for me, but I can't sing. I don't sound terrible, but I can't sing. I'm like, mono. But I always like to write, and I used to, when we could go outside and meet up, I used to do open mics for my poetry. And so sometimes I would translate that into music. So I just brought my love of reading and my love of writing and talking, and I put it all in one. But definitely on that first song, I basically remixed Brown Skin Girl by Beyonce, because I feel like she was talking to all of us, but she didn't say what I wanted to say. And again, that's pertaining to me looking in the mirror. That's how the lyrics go. I used to look in the mirror, think it's not fair, questioning this dark skin and this kinky hair. Like, I felt like she didn't say enough about what we really felt about ourselves. You telling us we're beautiful because at one point we thought we weren't. And, she didn't go over what I wanted to. So I was like, you know what? I got to remix this song. And I put it on my podcast because I want more people to hear what I'm saying. But that song is about, me talking to me, looking in the mirror. And then on the second verse is actually my son. And he's basically saying the same thing. Like, oh, I remember talking to my mom and she's telling me this, this, and this. And that's basically me building him up. So that's where the concept came from.
So cute. What is the work that you put in when it comes to your social media, though? Because I'm very curious about that as a podcaster and somebody that's trying to understand the background work of content and posting and being consistent with it. So what is the work you put in behind it when it comes to your editing, consistency when it comes to posting, and even when it comes to trying to figure out how to do more with that one post, how to gain just a bigger audience with every post that you put out?
It's definitely hard. So originally what I did was, because I learned from my previous podcast, which I'm trying to get up and running again, which is with my best friend. It's called Pretty Truthz. And what I learned was our issue was we would record on one Sunday and put it out the next Sunday. So we were only 1 week ahead. And that's why when the pandemic hit, and we dropped our last 2 episodes, we didn't have any more episodes, and we just kind of, went out. So this time I was like, I don't want that to happen again. So like I recorded, before I even released 1 episode, I recorded 10, because I'm like, at least if something happens, I can keep releasing. Now, editing all of those and the episodes took a while. And I still currently, have to edit sometimes before I release, but I definitely wanted to record. And that also, now that I have 10 episodes laid out and I've already posted it and it has like scheduled releases, now for 10 weeks, I can just focus on producing content on social media. So since you already have, a couple of episodes set up, you don't have to worry about recording. Now you have time just to focus on engaging and getting people to listen. And again, posting stuff. And once I see what people like, I just try to post those same things again. And I definitely, if you guys, I've seen most of you already do that, but posting snippets of the episode with pictures or something about the episode, people really like that. So I try to look at the funniest parts of my episodes, pull those, put them up, and then, put them. And then again, you said I post every day. I try to let people know that I'm also relatable. So I just post, me doing other things aside from that. And it's been working. Like I said, it's been like 2 months and I'm at 500 followers. Don't seem like a lot, but it's a lot for me.
No, yeah. So Charity, her speaking on editing and her content, you said that Nick is the background to your emails and the connection with your listeners and your audience. Are you the editor of everything?
Girl, no. I just get on the podcast and talk.
I can't stand her.
I feel you, Nick, because that's what I used to do with me and my best friend.
I can't. I'm trying to tell you, computers, anything techie, I can't do it. I can barely open my Facebook page and find somebody that done tagged me in something.
Yeah.
Like, I am not a social media person at all. Like, I got a business and I'm rarely up there myself, and I know that is a big part of my, setback, from me growing. So I said this year I was going to do a little better, but I ain't did it yet.
I'm a teacher. She gonna be edited soon. She gonna be the one responding to the emails. Like, don't look like that.
I'm really introverted. Like this right here, what we doing? I don't do stuff like that. Like, even I told her right before we got on, I was like, while we being honest, I really didn't want to do this. Like, I was so nervous. Not that I didn't want to, but it's just like I'm really nervous, and people like, yeah, no, it's not me.
I appreciate you coming on. I definitely appreciate it. Now let's do a side part right quick. What is your business about? You can't just say I got a business and not promote it.
I'm sorry. See, that's part of me. I make clothes.
Nice. Okay. That's all you want to say?
Cream collection.
I gotta
tell y'all, she made kids clothes, family clothes. She is so bomb. I'm trying to tell, and I'm not saying it because she's my best friend. She really good. And she shield anywhere. So anybody who want to know, plug me in Cream Collections. Sign up.
Now, to everybody, I want to know, what is your big mission behind your podcast? Like, for me, my podcast is designed for us. My podcast is designed for everybody, meaning no matter your age, your religion, your sexuality, no matter where you come from, my podcast is open arms and welcome everybody. It's made for young entrepreneurs such as myself, individuals that have anything to say on their community, on the world issues. I just wanted to make an open door for everybody and an open book where everybody can feel comfortable at. My room only came from that. My room, as Charity says, like, she's an introvert. I used to be a big introvert too, and my room was my comfort spot. And I wanted my podcast to be where everybody can feel comfortable at. So that's where In My Room only came from. So tell me the big mission behind your podcast, and along with the name that comes with it as well.
Guess I'll start. So, I think I've said it all already, but the Precious Truthz podcast was created as a vehicle to continue my journey of self-love and growing confidence. That's because, again, growing up, I just didn't think Black was beautiful. And I knew so many other Black girls who could truly relate to that experience. And I just wanted to continue to, encourage and motivate Black women to love the skin they're in, love their natural hair. I'm so happy with the natural hair movement. but to love their hair, and that, the beauty is not only what social media has said to us. We don't have to continue to buy into what society is telling us beauty looks like and feels like. It can look and feel like us. We can make it that way. And just again, talk about how I purposely unlearned those lies and how I did that, which was through re-education. I'm always constantly reading our history. And when you understand the history of how everything began, you start to say, oh, okay, I didn't like the way I look because, this untruthful, mythical lie that was created, because there is really shouldn't be no standard of beauty. Everybody is beautiful in their own ways. And again, my real name is Precious. So that's not fake. And the truths came from me telling my truths. And although that name was created years ago when I started poetry, again, it was always me wanting to tell my truths. So that's where my name came from, is Precious Truths. And then the podcast is named after me.
I like that.
That's dope.
It really is.
I guess for us, our mission is just to be us. I can't say we have which I think you're great, Precious. That's a great message. I can't say that we really have a set message behind it. We just literally two best friends to have a conversations. We came up with the girls' locker room. We went through a few names, and that one just kind of clicked with us. Talk about things that, of course, that goes in the locker room. That private talk, those private conversations. And like I said, basically it's our private conversations out loud, so we just want to just keep growing and growing our friendship. Is helping us, learn each other even more. I think on the last episode, she asked me questions that she said she'd never asked me before. I'm like, oh, really? Where'd that come from? It's just, we still learning each other even 20 years later. And we just putting it out there for the world to hear.
I mean, that's dope.
Besides the stuff that goes to the grave that between best friends, we can't let y'all hear that.
Right.
Well, Precious, I definitely like your explanation behind your podcast, simply because I feel like I listened to some of your episodes. I feel like I definitely related to some of your life advancements. And then when it comes to in my room, and not in my room, locker room, sorry. When it comes to you ladies podcast, I definitely enjoyed it simply because your stories the name and some of your stories took me back to situations literally in high school. Your name comes together really well simply because it brings out understanding of, like I said in the beginning, a female's perspective, what you think that others aren't going through, or others don't even talk about. It doesn't have to be like what you're going through, what you're talking about in a regular conversation. It gives a fresh feel to me when I have a conversation with my friends. It gives me a fresh feel to be like, okay, I'm not the only one talking about this. I'm not the only one thinking this. And like I said, Precious, I definitely appreciate your podcast, because when it comes to your episode, you allowed me to feel like and think and believe I'm not the only one going through this. I'm not the only one that felt this way at a certain point in time. So that's why I definitely enjoy everyone's podcast. I feel like it's uplifting to not just me, but to your listeners and audience. And my big question is, do you guys ever think or ever feel like this will be a career in the future? Simply because I do believe you guys are doing a great thing.
I definitely feel like it will lead to, and that is the goal, that it could lead to a career thing, and it doesn't have to be podcasting. I used to, and after life gets away, sometimes you forget about the things you wanted to do, because now you just have to work to make sure you can financially take care of yourself. But I used to want to be a motivational speaker. So if not on the podcast, but on stages and just speaking to crowds, I've done it minorly, but not in the way I would like to. So I definitely would like to be able to speak to a broader audience, whether it's via, podcasting on an actual stage. I would love to go to TED Talk. Just those things, I would love to do them. And of course, my podcast is, the inspiration behind it is promoting Black beauty and, Black health, Black wealth, Black ownership, all of those things. But I also talk about domestic violence. I also talk about drug addiction. I also talk about mass incarceration, which are things that also affect the Black community, but affects everyone. So I do talk about other things, but when I get on, shows and stuff, I just like to iterate why it started and what I will always promote. So, but that is the end goal.
I like that. Yeah, I'm definitely looking to make this out of a career as well. I'm currently in school for media communication, so I always wanted to be a host or a radio host. I just love talking, and I love learning things. I feel like even when it's in the news and it's biased, it gets me to research and try to understand the truth. When I watch, I don't know if you guys are know what Vice is. It's a TV show or a TV channel. And I'm also into that. Like you said, TED Talk, just everything just brings curiosity to my mind. And that's what brought me to podcasting. I feel like having hosts and having guests just bring curiosity to whatever they come from, whatever story they're bringing. And like you said, that you wanted to be a motivational speaker. Growing up, I wanted to be an activist as well. I just wanted to talk for everybody that something was going on with them, because I just wanted to be the voice for the people that couldn't speak up, because it's hard to watch people go through things and they're just too scared to say something. And like, I got a big mouth and I'm ready to fight for anybody. So that's where my dream of becoming a podcaster comes from, is because I just want to speak for everybody, and I want everybody to speak for themselves, because everybody's voice needs to be heard.
That's dope. Charity, what you think? So goofy.
Hey, we still talking long term?
Yeah, what you think? We going long term, or what's that?
Of course. No, I'm down for the ride.
As we learn more and we get, a little bit more serious with it and more consistent, that is something we talk about, that we can go further, because we do get a lot of support, more support than we think. We always talk about, like, dang, people really listen to us, because we started off just to be doing something, as friends, and like, we really get support. We really get listeners. We really get engagement, on the social media. So I think we can go far. It's been in the talks, so hopefully we come up with a better plan for 2021. Get like in my room in Precious Truthz, get big like y'all one day.
I'm here for everybody. I'm here for everybody's growth. And speaking about your 2021 plan, we are down to the end of the show. And if you are a listener, my listeners know we also do the end of the show talk and the content and our last question. So our last question is, what is your 2021 plan for your podcast? I'll go first. My 2021 plan for my podcast is just to be more consistent. Like, I'm really not I'm consistent, but I can be 100%. I can say like I'm 80 right now due to school and work, but I can't use that as an excuse. So one goal is to become more consistent when it comes to my content, become more involved when it comes to my Instagram. Like, I'm barely on there unless I have to speak to somebody or if I need contacts. And then just become more open and stop being so shy when it comes to my advertisement. Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Gary Vee. Gary Vee is somebody I love listening to, and he was speaking about advertising your podcast, and I have a hard time doing that. So those are my 2021 plans for In My Room Only podcast.
My plans for the Precious Truthz podcast is to continue to grow and continue to, again, the same thing, reach out to as many people as possible. I think I also have an issue with promotion, not via social media, but again, I would text everyone the episode when it comes out on Monday. Usually it comes out on Monday. So I would text everybody on Mondays. And then after the third one, I kind of felt annoying. So I'm like, dang, maybe I shouldn't text people and be nervous about it. And then maybe like 2 weeks later, I was like, you know what? I'm going back to it. I'm about to text everybody on my phone again. And then there were people who was like, oh, I was waiting for you to release another episode. I'm like, I release every Monday. they're like, oh, well, you stopped texting me. So it was actually people who were looking forward to those texts. So I think I want to just become more comfortable with advertising, being more comfortable with quote unquote being annoying, because at times it's not really annoying. It's you promoting yourself. And if you are a friend or a listener or someone who wants to see me do good, then you won't mind me letting you know when I'm, releasing another episode. So I think for me, it's the same thing, to just be more avid about promoting myself and be confident and comfortable in doing so.
Well, comfortability, I didn't see anything wrong with that when it comes to you, because when it comes to your social media, it's definitely inspiring. Like, I really wish I had the confidence to put up posts like you do. You're definitely an inspiration when it comes to social media, in my view on it.
Thank you.
Yeah, for real, because your content, I wish I was like that. That's all I really have to say. You're really out there with your content, and I think that is one thing that brings in your listeners more than anything, just showing your vulnerability side, being able to, rap your background, sing your background. It's just, that is definitely a big congratulations, and I definitely applaud you for that.
Thank you.
I'm up next. I don't know. I think I just want to grow more, and I really want us to be more consistent. And my biggest thing is I want to come out of my shell. So that's gonna be a lot of work for me. I don't know how y'all do it. So, but that's about all.
Yeah, I agree with what everybody said. I think everybody is doing great. Everybody has their own path, and goals for their podcast. And I think you guys are awesome. Pretty much in the same boat for 2021. Just be more consistent, engage more on social media. Like you were saying, it's kind of hard being an entrepreneur. I'm a mother. I still work full time as well. When you're doing all of those things, sometimes social media or promoting does go on the back burner. So definitely trying to find that balance between doing it all. That's definitely my plan for 2021, and to just grow and continue to network and to meet great people like you. Really learn some great tips today.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, ladies. Although it was supposed to be 6 hosts tonight, I was supposed to be 6. I'm happy that I got majority, I got 3 out of 5. So I definitely want to thank everybody for just coming on to the Zoom and speaking on your podcast. I definitely got a balanced perspective from everybody. The support is here for me, definitely. I enjoy every single one of you podcasters. And I'm not just saying that, I absolutely mean it. I hope you guys go far, excel, and exceed through 2021 on your podcast and even in your personal lives. We all deserve it. I'm pretty sure 2020 was rough for everybody, and I'm pretty sure we worked so hard to survive it. So I'm definitely believing that 2021 is WON for all of us. All right.
Yes.
A little end thing. I don't know. Shout out your podcast. I know we've been talking about it. We do a little promotion at the end or something.
I don't know. I'm glad it's over. I've been nervous this whole time, y'all. Heart just been over here racing.
Right,
but
well, y'all follow us on Instagram, the Girls Locker Room Podcast. I think we actually had a different page when we first started out. I don't know how it got shut down. There was nothing crazy up there. I don't know what happened. So we had to start a new page. So that was a little interesting in the middle of the year, having to start, and rebuild back up and get your followers back up. But now our page is at TGLR Podcast. Is that our thing?
I'll drop it below. It's okay.
Don't.
Anyways, the Girls Locker Room Podcast. So if you put that in the search bar, we're going to come up. Right. Nick and Charity, we thank y'all for the listeners so far.
And please follow me. I need all the follows, but follow both of my pages. So follow the first one. That's at Miss Shine Time. That's ZSHYNETYME, because I like the limelight on me. And please follow my podcast page. That's Precious Truthz. That's at PRECIOUSTRUTHZ. Please follow me.
All right, ladies. I want to say a big thank you to Charity because I know how it is being nervous. I used to be like that when I was younger. And I honestly really thank you for coming on because I didn't take no offense when you said that you didn't want to be on here because I know how it feels. And I absolutely appreciate the honesty. I love honesty more than lying. So, hey, I appreciate it. And Nick and Precious, thank you as well. I do appreciate it. And like I said, the follow is here, the support is here, and I'll definitely be waiting for your next episode to come out. But until next time, roommates, bye, guys.